Hey guys, guess what just came? It should be my water cooler. If not, I don't know why I've got a box from Newegg. But I'm pretty sure it's my water cooler. Let me... Well, that's already open, actually. Okay. Let's dig on in and see what is inside this here box. Get the packing slip out of here. And inside of here, we have... Here she is, as I almost drop everything. The Corsair H100i V2. Ha ha! Alright, I'm going to start getting ready to install this, but I do have a render running right now. So I'll need to wait until that render is officially complete. Then I'll take my PC apart and we'll get started with this installation. I'm excited. Well, I'm going to read this little instruction book that came inside this box here, because it's got a few things that I need to do, but this will be basically my first install of a water cooler because, you know, I haven't done anything like this before. I mean, I have an air cooler, the 212 Evo I think I have inside there right now. So that exists inside the computer. We're going to be replacing it with this to keep my temperatures down. And I've never installed the water cooler before, so this should be fun. And if you're just joining me for whatever reason, yes, I'm from Philly. Yes, I say water cooler. It's a thing that happens. Anyway, so we have the radiator here, along with the pipes to the CPU socket. We have a bunch of parts inside here. We have two fans. And I'm going to actually take a few minutes to read the instruction book while I'm getting ready for this, so I actually will know what I'm doing. Okay, so I've taken the liberty here of taking the side doors off my computer case and just generally kind of vacuuming around and getting everything out. So, the main thing that needs to happen first is my computer cooler is right here. This is the old 212 Evo, I believe it is. So this and then this back plate need to wind up coming off so we can start getting the new one installed, and I'll probably need to clean up the processor. But, yeah, it hopefully shouldn't be that bad to get this radiator off. This was a pain. Getting the radiator on when I installed this thing the first time was a big pain. So I need to get this done and remove all of this before we can get the new one on, obviously. Well, also I did take the liberty of starting to get things sorted out over here. So those two parts, this little round plate back here, and then those four screws are actually for AMD installations, and I have an i5-6600K in here, so we don't actually need those. But everything else is what we're going to need for the installation here. Okay, so as you can see here, you can see my my little i5 here, nice and clean. I took all the thermal paste off, as well as the cooler. The cooler's over in that Newegg box. As you can see down here, I have an LGA 1151 panel, which this water cooler supports. So the next step is actually to turn this thing around, and luckily, because of the way my case is built, I have a back door, because we need to install a back plate over here, which is this thing. So this is going to sit here and essentially have to hold on everything else. That wasn't too bad for the moment. Important to note for the LGA 1150 whatever 1150X is that you have to have these switches set to the center, and you just kind of plop it in like that. All right, so in the Intel bag here we have these two types of screws plus these. So these ones right here, the ones that are kind of level on both sides, are the ones we want to use for my Intel, my thing, because these are the ones for the 1151X and the 1366, excuse me. These fat ones over here are for if you have an LGA 2011, but we don't. So we're going to use these and screw them in from the other side out back here towards this. Also, this is your quick reminder, and I'm doing it so you should too. You make sure you stay grounded during all of this. I don't have a wrist strap, so I'm just touching metal, but you don't want to fry your thing, especially because we're working literally right next to the CPU. Just a reminder. Okay, so now that we're here, we're running into a few problems. So the first thing is that it's time to install the radiator, but the problem with the radiator is the radiator does not fit with the CPU fan that was here in. So I had to take it out, hopefully temporarily. Hopefully I will be able to squeeze it back on in there after we're done the assembly. But also my case is unfortunately not well designed in terms of cable management, because I have this kind of just going around over here. So I have to do something with that. But the one thing I made progress on for the moment is this cable right here. This is a new cable here that connects to a USB port on this thing that I have it wrapped around for the moment and coming out up here. And by USB, I mean mini USB. So that connects. Where is it? This side down here. So now I've got to try to get the radiator in, get, where is it, this cable into that computer fan or CPU fan socket up there, right above the cable, and then try to get the fans installed basically all at the same time. So I obviously can't be holding the camera for that, so sorry, but you're gonna have to just hang it tight. Alright, big first step in place. So after getting these holders for the dust screen off, now the radiator is officially installed. So now I've got to put the fans on. Also, it's plugged in back here. So that's installed. Time to put these fans on. I'm going to try to slip this fan back on now that I have this installed, because we actually have room for it now. At least we should. So I had to move the pipes over here. I actually wanted them over here, but it wasn't going to happen. So they're here now. The only thing with this is it's going to make my RAM completely inaccessible, basically, because as you can see, it's already ultimately inaccessible. But it doesn't exactly matter, because I've nearly maxed out my RAM anyway, because I'm not going to be upgrading from the 32 gigs that I have in there in the meantime, but, or well, not in the meantime, but anytime soon, because I have 32 gigs in there now. I could do 64, but that's not happening soon. So just a warning, this thing is going to be big, because I still have to tack the two fans on up here. So time to install some fans. Okay, that went much more smoothly now. 3 fans installed. This one, as it was before, which was an outtake, because the way it was before is that the old radiator was kind of just blowing into the outtake, which is kind of a waste. But the way they recommend that you wire this is to have this be an intake through here, through these 2 fans, and then take it out with well, they don't say to take it out with anything, but I'm taking it out with this. So that's that. So now the fun part. Time to get this installed, because basically everything else, save for the micro USB cable, or mini USB, is ready to rock and roll. So we will have to see, because this might be complicated and hairy, because these fans are literally right above where we need to be. So are we going to have to take that apart? Well, we'll see. But this down here, it's hard to move this now because it's all in place. But there, as you can see it, I might have pointed this out earlier, but that already has thermal paste applied, which means I don't have to work with thermal paste. It looks like a lot, but I'll trust their judgment. They've sure built more PCs over at Corsair than I ever have. So, to the next step, installing the pump unit. Yeah, okay, I had to retract this fan here for a second. So, now we get to go down and try it again. Okay, yeah, that was not happening with the fan installed, but nonetheless, it is fully installed, including the good old micro USB cable down here. So I oriented it kind of the way it was, so that, you know, the Corsair logo, which I believe lights up in the software that I'll be installing in a while upstairs that you'll see in a few minutes. That lights up, so that's why it's down, so that it'll go with the rest, because this lights up too, and it'll be fancy. Now the question, can I get this fan installed back again? And I think the answer is yes. So I'm going to install this fan, and then come back to you after I've tried to cable wrangle just a little bit. Alright, well, there she is. She's in the socket. Everything's good. That fan's installed. My third fan is back there. I do actually have a fourth fan up in the front of my case too, so which is an intake, by the way. So where is it an X? I forget. I'm forgetting right now, but that fourth fan nonetheless is up there. So yeah, we're ready to. I'm gonna put the doors back on, and we're gonna go upstairs and see what we can do. Well, let's click around and see what happens. Of course, delete key mashing to get into BIOS and coming live. Hey, we're in. Okay. Chassis fan 2 is not detected. Is it running? Because if it's not running, I have to take that whole thing apart, basically. Oh, you know what? No, I don't. Yep, it's not running. Chassis fan 1 is running. It's detecting. That's lighting up, so I'm assuming it is pumping. Is my CPU temperature live? It looks like it. CPU temperature is only 22 Celsius. Alexa, what is 22 Celsius in Fahrenheit?
22 degrees Celsius is 71.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's 71 degrees Fahrenheit. Now a little bit higher. But, so yeah, we're doing good. I might have forgotten to plug that in. Let me just go back in and check. Oh, it went down. Okay, it was not bad at all. It was legitimately plugged in. But, these tubes for the CPU cooler were actually so pushed up so tightly against the fan that it was stopping it. So, yeah, I had to unstop them, and I might have to actually go move them off to the side forcibly so that they don't stop that fan, because that could be bad. But it's detecting it now. So, I say I'm going to put that case back together, as long as it doesn't reclog that fan on my doing so. And we'll jump into Windows, just to check things. And then once that's done, I'll start with, well, what everybody's really probably looking forward to, which is overclocking. Well, I went into Windows and everything seemed to be alright. So, on to more important duties here. So we'll leave that basically where it is, but for the moment, oops, right here, 45. Boom. Because I know this processor can do a very, very stable 45. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, let's get out of here, and we'll see what happens. I might need to adjust the voltage because I was getting 4.5 on here at one point, and then I had to turn it down, but I don't think I ever actually turned my voltage back down, so we should be just about ready to go. All right, and we are up. We are up and running at 4.48 gigahertz, just under 5, or just under 4.5. So we're rocking it here. High has been 55 for the moment. It peaks a little bit and then it goes back down. I'm obviously not doing anything yet other than starting up. But for the moment, I'm going to go install the Corsair software, but we'll leave those on this monitor so I can keep an eye on that while I'm over here. And the software installed, as you'll see, have a nice glowing red Corsair logo up there, which is being blocked for the moment by that. Hello? There we go. Because I can change the color on the logo, but I wanted it red, obviously, to match, well, the rest of the case, ultimately, because the whole front of my case is red. But there we go. She is installed and pumping. I'm going to benchmark this in a little bit and be kind of back. Okay, so with the new clock speed, I'm going to do did a test render. It should be just about done now. It just needs to actually finish merging all of its files together, and then we'll look at the logs and see how well it did. Now, this is a vlog day. This is the sequence for vlog 1, or vlog of April 1st, not vlog 1. So this, I mean, if you want to look at the footage that's up, scroll back 14 or so days on the vlog. But this is a sequence that's, as you can see over here, 27 minutes, 57 seconds, 21 frames. That just finished. 1080p footage, 2997 frame rate, 24 megabits per second. So it's a very high quality, well, not very high, but pretty high quality picture. I mean, there's the settings right here. So these, I did a rendering of this basically right before this happened at base clock speed. So that's here. So as you can see, this took 31 minutes, 31 seconds right here. The new render thing, 26 and a half minutes. We shaved 5 minutes off my render time with that. That's the power of an extra gigahertz, man. That's impressive. And also note, this is rendering better than 1:1. 27 minutes is the sequence. This rendered in 26 minutes. It's almost 28. So I'm rendering better than 1:1 here, whereas this was a little bit over. That's good. So now you're probably really asking is, well, what do we get temperature-wise? So the temperature here, we had a max of 62 at one point. We were hovering around the mid to high 50s, as you can see here. Now they're dropping now very quickly. You can tell when it stopped. It went back down rather quickly. Now that it's finished, it's back down in the. It hit 30 there at one point, but it's back in the high 20s. So pretty good results. It's very solid. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this for a little while, but that's all I have edited for the moment. I need to actually edit more vlogs, but we're looking good. She's installed properly and working. We're rocking this. So really, aside from installing the H100i V2, nothing really happened today, noteworthy wise, because I was just kind of working on various things. So yeah, that's today. But I mean, that was a big today because now my PC is. By the way, I have it on high performance mode, which is why it's loud. If you can hear that, you probably can't. That's because I was rendering 3 videos earlier, and I wanted it to be on high performance mode, which keeps it even cooler. So that's that. It's working well. It's fun. But that's going to be just about it for today. Tomorrow we'll be back for another day of early morning class plus audio post work. So even though it's only a little after 11, it's time for me to actually get to bed. So good night, everyone.